Good day and welcome to Chess Corner. In today's game, we have a game from Sardinia World Chess Festival. This is actually a tournament in Sardinia, Italy. It's a standard tournament from April 27 up to May 4th. And in this game, we're going to look into a game between a very rare encounter because this is actually a game between the Botez sisters, Andrea playing white against her sister WFM, Alexandra Botez. Well, both of them are really strong players with a rating of 1879 for Andrea, and for Alexandra, it's 1970. Well, let's get right into it and let's see what happened to their game. So here, Andrea opens up with d4. We have knight f6 by Alessandra, bishop f4, e6, and now e3. So this is like an Indian setup or a London setup. And then we have d5, knight f3 was played, and now c5. In this position, you have several options as white. You can go knight bd2, bishop e2, or you can go with a solid c3. So here we have c3 by Andrea, and now knight to c6. We have knight bd2, and now bishop to d6. So putting pressure on this bishop on f4 right away. And in this one, you have several options. You can go bishop to g3. You can go d takes c5. Or if you want to simplify, you can capture the bishop on d6. But here, Andrea decided to go with the bishop g3. A solid choice. Now we have castle kingside. And now we have bishop d3. Now in this position, capturing the bishop won't be a good idea because after a capture with the pawn on h2, then there will be an open file for the rook, and then we have still the bishop here on d3 pointing at the h7 square. So here we have b6 only by Alessandra. Now we have knight to e5, queen to c7, putting pressure on this knight. And right now this knight is actually attacked 3 times now. So we need to defend it by f4. After f4 we have capture and then recapture. We have g6 now by Alessandra here, and then we have bishop to f2. a5 was played with the idea of bishop a6. Black would like to at least remove this bishop here because this bishop still pointing at the g6 square along with the knight. But here, Andrea played queen e2, preventing the bishop a6 idea, prophylactic move that we have. And then we have knight to h5, threatening to capture this pawn on f4. And the most logical move would be playing it with g3. After g3, we have knight to b8. The knight b8 move actually serves two purposes here, like bishop to a6. That's one, removing the bishop. Still knight to d7. But here we have a4, and now we have f6. And if you're gonna take a look at the position, the best move is probably knight g4 or knight f3. But here, Andrea decided to sacrifice a knight on g6 early on the game. And this is not the best continuation because this sacrifice, it looks like it's premature, but still depends on how black will respond. But here we have capture and now recapture. But now the compensation for white, we can say that right now the king or the black king is not that safe here, and there's always a possibility of moving the queen here on g4 to h5. But here we have only like knight g7, and now we have h4. Not the best continuation here. The suggestion is to go queen g4 right away with the idea of queen h4 or queen h3, so that we have an option to deliver a check here on h7. So we have h4 anyway, and then we have knight c6. We have h5, really aggressive move here, and now we have e5, which is the best move in the possession because in this kind of possession we're in, if your opponent actually decided to attack you on the edge of the board like this, the best way to counter is to basically strikes in the middle like this. So we have h6 attacking the knight, Knight e6 was played, and now we have queen g4. Another blunder by Andrea here. Maybe you'll notice that this bishop's still pointing at this direction. So there's always a possibility of a discovered attack on the queen. But here, and Alessandra decided to basically put the king into safety by king to h8. But now we have f5. Knight g5 was played, so the knight is actually well placed here in this position. The only way for you to remove it is by attacking it by a bishop e3 or knight to f3. But of course, since white is actually down material, she would like to keep pieces on the board. She would like to prevent exchanges here. So here we have castle, and now we have knight to e7 with the idea of capturing the bishop. And right now, you won't be able to capture the knight in this position. So here we have capture and then recapture. So we have queen to e2 only, and now capture. Bishop takes f5 and knight takes f5. So right now, black is actually putting pressure on this pawn on g3. This is actually attacked 3 times now. And right now, white has one defender. Although we have king g2, adding additional defender, but still, we have capture. Capture on b6. Here, white is actually hoping for queen takes b6, rook takes f5. But there's actually something that actually she missed here, which is an intermediate move. Because after capture, or not capture first, we have a check first rather. Wherein right now you don't have rook takes f5. So we have king h1, and now queen takes b6. So right now, black is really ahead of material, like 2 pieces. So here we have queen d3, and now we have bishop to e5. We have capture, and right now, if you're gonna take a look, the queen and the knight is actually on the same file only. And Alexandra actually took advantage of this by playing rook to d8, so attacking the queen. And right now, you won't be able to retreat the queen to basically defend the knight. The only way for you is to play something else by a knight to c4, a counterattack, a good move as well. Although right now, white is really down material. So here we have capture and then recapture. And now in this position, if you're gonna take a look, white is basically threatening to capture the rook. And in this position, black has 1, 2, 3 attackers pointing at the king. And for white, he has like only one defender, which is actually a rook. So basically, 4 against 1. So in this position, you really need to basically save the rook and look for the best move, wherein you can use the rook to help with a checkmate. So here, Alexandra made this move, which is rook d2, and this is actually the part wherein Andrea actually resigned, because there's no hope for white anymore here, because here the best continuation if you're playing white to prolong the game is probably rook d1. But after rook d1, here we have a check. So king g1. After king g1, we can go knight to h3 with a check again. So here king f1 is force move. After king f1, we have rook to f2. And now in this position, we need to go king e1. And after king e1, you can actually checkmate white by a knight to g2 or even knight f3. And this is actually completely winning. Well, if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. And thank you for watching Chess Corner. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye now.